Hello guys, how you doing? This is Alexander Buster Deputy. I am very excited about what I am about to do. And what I'm about to do is go over a book literally that has literally answered the very question that I always had growing up and that I have just always thought about. But didn't really put the pieces together until I read this little pamphlet. I mean, literally, it's like a 70-page pamphlet that we will go through chapter by chapter, and it is called Color, Communism, and Common Sense. It is by a man by the name of Manning Johnson. So the question that I have always had, growing up, especially within the culture that we are living in right now, and especially with how critical race theory is taking hold of our society now, and it's going to be taught and it's going to be pushed into our society. I think it's very wise for us as human beings and people to really understand the background of it. And this book literally does that for you. This book solved the question that I always had, because growing up, I always saw the different ethnic group of people, how they succeeded and how they banded together and how they were able to stick together, and they were able to just work to better off themselves in America, except for the Black culture. And it always puzzled me, and I just could not stop thinking about it as why. And then growing up in school, and you heard about the slavery part, and you hear about how racist America is. I am not denying that slavery happened, but something else was always bugging me, was that, well, we no longer are slaves, but why hasn't the Black culture ever been able to progress like, let's say, the Jewish culture or the Asian culture, and the Asian society, so those were the questions that always just plagued me. And I hope some of you have those questions also, but this book really answers all of that, and it just really changed my whole view, and it just have put everything together for me. So I will be glad to just go over this with you guys. So what we are going to be doing is we will be going over a chapter per video. So it's a very short chapter. So it looks like this. I mean, literally, it's a pamphlet. You can get this online. All you have to do is just type in Color, Communism, Common Sense, and you should be able to download the PDF. So it looks like this. Very easy to read. I mean, someone that is a speed reader can pretty much read this within about an hour. So it's about a man named Manning Johnson. Manning Johnson was a former what you call a black red, and that will come in handy later. And this is the Reverend Stephen Lewis Craft, who was the one who interviewed Manning, and he was able to put this together. And it looks like this forward. I mean, it's pretty easy to read. I mean, it's literally, and then it has little pamphlets or little newspaper pages from back then. So yeah, so this is very good. But I think I should be able to talk a little bit about Manning Johnson, because I don't want to spend the next couple of times during the whole study talking about him. So Manning Johnson wasn't just someone who is writing about something, but Manning Johnson was actually a part of it. He was part of what we call the Black Reds. You see, because back after World War One, Russia wanted to export communism into America, and they already had it planned out. So what they needed to do was to pick a target, and they chose the Black culture because America, history with slavery was a driving force for them to be able to use that and to be able to push that into our society and slowly push us into a communist society. And everything that we see now is a direct relation to what they had planned. And Manny exposed it all because Manny was part of it. And he came from a Christian home. And, growing up, he wanted to find purpose and meaning. So he ended up going into this thing, into this organization, thinking that he was going to make a change because he saw all of the horrible injustices that was happening to blacks. So rightly so, he wanted to make a change. And it wasn't exactly what he thought it was. And when he realized what was actually happening, he got out. And then he spoke out about it, and he talked to I think he talked to Congress back in 1957 or 59, exposing communism and how it is slowly infiltrating into our society. But unfortunately for Manny, probably a couple weeks after he testified with Congress, he ended up dying. So, coincidence? I don't know. But nevertheless, this is such an awesome pamphlet. It literally put the pieces together for me, and hopefully this will do the same for you. The heading of my video is going to be is my response to CRT. And I hope it's going to get traction because this is where our society is heading. But man, it's so good to be able to have info that we can be able to read and understand the ideas and the enemies of America and how they are trying to tear down our society and what we can do to be able to combat that. All right, so thank you. See me next time for chapter 1. Okay, thank you.